Hello, Dr. Berg here. Today we're going to talk about the most dangerous diseases that don't give you many symptoms. Now, if you take a hammer and hit your thumb and you have pain, that's going to be an immediate symptom, right? But a lot of other symptoms, which we're going to talk about, are way late on the chain of events. In fact, there are no symptoms for 10 to 20 years with high blood pressure. Type 2 diabetes takes 15 to 20 years before you start noticing major symptoms. Liver disease, in some cases, you could have 75% damage in your liver before you even get a symptom. Kidney disease, it's even more dramatic. You could literally run your whole body. I'm talking about filtering all your blood on one kidney. The body survives on just a small percentage of our organs. It's incredible. In fact, a lot of times it takes up to 90% of the damage before you start noticing significant symptoms of late-stage kidney disease. Now, what about atherosclerosis? This is plaquing in the arteries. You're not going to notice very many symptoms until 70% is blocked. There's so many people that go to the doctor and they find their arteries are really shut down, but they don't really have any symptom to know that that's happening. What about colon cancer? I know quite a few people who ended up with stage 4 without even having any symptom at all. And it's really mind-blowing is you go to the doctor to actually turn off your warning signs to get rid of your symptoms. They treat them directly. They don't look into root cause of these issues. They give you a medication to manage the symptoms so you don't feel them. And then a lot of people, when they actually get this later stage warning sign, is they either ignore it or they consider it a normal part of aging, normal fatigue, normal stiffness, normal high blood pressure. Because everyone is on a blood pressure medication, getting up throughout the night, urinating, normal belly fat, normal craving for sugar or frequent hunger. This next part is going to get really interesting. And then I'm going to go into 4 habits that can get at the root of a lot of these major problems that you might have. So let's get started and talk about what's really happening when we get type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure. There's actually a compensation going on. Part of your body doesn't have oxygen. The body is going to compensate by increasing the pressure to increase more volume of nutrition and oxygen to that part of the body. The best condition to talk about, to give you an example of that, is type 2 diabetes. Just take a look at this for a second. What is normal blood sugar? It should be about 80 milligrams per deciliter. 80 is 1 teaspoon of sugar for all of your blood. Explain something to me. The average person consumes way more than 1 teaspoon. But how could they possibly have normal blood sugar? There's a compensation going on, and that compensation is called insulin. Insulin acts as like a vacuum cleaner, and it sucks the sugar out as fast as you eat it, converting it to this thing right here for about 15 to 20 years. Until it becomes dysfunctional. And eventually it's going to become so toxic it could put holes in your arteries. So the body's going to raise insulin to clean all this sugar out to protect you. It's trying to help you. It pulls it out and it has to convert it into some storage as fat. Okay, so it goes into your belly, it goes into the organs, it goes into the liver. And this is going on for 15 to 20 years, okay? You're not going to notice too many symptoms other than belly fat, right? Maybe some fatigue, until one day your pancreas has had enough. And basically the cells in your pancreas start to get so tired they can't produce its insulin anymore. That's really what insulin resistance is. It's a total compensation for too much sugar that then leads to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes over time. Now let's go to liver for a second, because your liver is so robust. It's so tough. It can take a beating. You can literally remove 75% of your liver and grow back the rest in a relatively short period of time, within months. I mean, it's wild. I personally would not wait until you have a symptom with your liver or any other of these as well. Because if you wait until you get a stage 4 or 5 kidney disease and you need dialysis, chances are it's going to be really, really hard to recover from that. Especially when we deal with colon cancer, you might not notice too much until it's really kind of metastasized throughout the body. The best thing to do, again, is prevention. And I'm going to talk about 4 habits to keep you out of trouble. Let's shift down here to low vitamin D. This is not a disease, but it's a huge root cause to put you at risk for a lot of other problems, including cancer, including autoimmune, including cardiovascular disease. In fact, low vitamin D is one of the biggest root causes of high blood pressure. When you have enough vitamin D, you can increase this thing called nitric oxide, and it's really beneficial to keep your blood pressure in check. Vitamin D also helps you keep the insulin working so the insulin doesn't get burnt out. So if you have low vitamin D, then this time is shortened. This time is shorter. And this is why you should err on the side of a little bit more vitamin D than less vitamin D, just to make up for this problem right here called vitamin D resistance. Let's go into the 4 habits that I highly recommend that you hyper-focus in on so we can actually avoid and maybe even reverse some of these right here. The first one involves exercise, going for walks after you eat to burn off any sugar that you ate, which would be very, very smart. I want to add one thing to exercise that you maybe never heard before, which I think is going to be the next amazing thing. And it's called hypoxia training. Now, what is hypoxia? That's low oxygen. You can simulate exercising at a high altitude, like climbing a mountain. Like a lot of athletes do this type of training to increase their enhancement of their fitness and repair. When you go to sleep at night, if you had sleep apnea, you're probably not going to have sleep apnea. This little combination of exercise and hypoxia training could flood different tissues with more oxygen to get rid of inflammatory areas and push oxygen into parts of your body that you have never really felt in a long time. Number 2 is lowering carb with intermittent fasting. So now you're not going to be eating all day long. We're going to be doing like maybe 2 meals or 1 meal a day with low carb. That combination will take insulin resistance to the point where all the things that were connected to it start improving overnight. Number 3, get an additional 30 to 60 more minutes of sleep. Everything works so much better by getting sufficient sleep. But guess what? Number 1, that exercise with the hypoxia training will give you so much oxygen, it's going to help you sleep. Reducing the carbs and doing intermittent fasting will actually also help you sleep as well. And then number 4, being outside in the sun, in nature, walking through the woods is such an important therapy, because if you just contrast that to being inside all day and not going outside, you will feel a dramatic difference. Over 50% of the sun's rays are infrared, which is so therapeutic to build melatonin and help you sleep at night. Those are the 4 new habits I would highly recommend. They're the most important for reducing diseases and symptoms. Now let's talk about how to create your health with intermittent fasting and doing a low-carb diet. For that, you need to watch this video right now. Check it out. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies, with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto and Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.